One of the most important things for me when I'm remodeling bathrooms is how much light I have inside those bathrooms and how I will be able to control it separately so I don't have a ton of light whenever I don't need it. That is the case in this situation, and this beautiful modern bathroom has light fixtures featured by the company called Incarled. Incarled is a company that makes beautiful low profile light fixtures that I'm going to show you step by step how I install them over here, and something that you can't do when you're installing light fixtures. This is something really important, so stay tuned because I'm going to show you in a moment the biggest mistakes that a lot of people do when they're doing their own remodeling. Everybody can do it, but look at the difference. This is how the bathroom looked like before, how sad it looked like. The colors obviously were really bad for my taste. Everything was so dim, and no matter how many lights they had over there, obviously they don't have enough lighting. Everything looks so sad, and that's why I just had to do something completely different. Besides, they needed something better. So here is how the lights come. If you go obviously to Amazon and you look for the company Incarled, you're gonna find these ones. Not only that, they are extremely reliable and affordable. So they're, the prices are really competitive. And the cool thing about it is that you open the box, you're gonna find beautiful instructions. These instructions look really nice, and they show you obviously the step by step of how to install it in different languages. And not only that, but if you need to order more from them, you can actually go to Amazon, just like you see here, and input Incarled, and you will find the light fixtures. And trust me that they have a really good price for the light fixtures. This box comes with 12 of them, and you can actually feature the different spectrum of color that you want. So you can go there, look for again Incarled, and find the light fixtures that I'm using right now. I wouldn't be using something that I don't feel comfortable with, and this one has a really beautiful, well-built box over there, and also the light fixture itself is extremely low profile, well protected. So you know that when you're handling it, you're not gonna get it dirty, you're not gonna be frustrated trying to clean the rim around it. So that's it. When I finish with the demolition, I look how much space that box takes, the old electrical box. So when you're projecting this, you want to make sure that you put all the wiring. I have other videos where I can show you how you install the wiring, but it's pretty much like this. You want to jump from one light fixtures to the other to be able to actually provide the power around the sections that you want. So in this case, I want the shower with 2 lights and the rest of the bathroom with 3 lights that I want to control with different switches. So that is something that obviously you will organize according to your desire, your space, but I like to control the lights the way I want it, and that is what I consider. If you want only to use the bathroom, you just turn on the 3 light fixtures. If you want to use the shower as well, you turn on the other 2. So if you notice, I have those pigtails, and that's because I need to work in this bathroom while I'm building it. So I'm going to put some provisional lighting. But look, I took that old box out. It takes so much space, and now I'm going to use this beautiful Incarled light fixtures that are going to be so awesome. So one thing that is extremely important is that you want to make sure that when you open all the boxes and you see all the pieces over there, you just move the ones that you want, little by little. So you don't want to take all of them out at once. You just take as many as you need. In this case, I'm using 5 here, and the other ones I'm going to use it in the other side of the project. I have another project where I'm going to show you how nice they look like in a living room or in a dining room. So look, it has 3 ports, and the cool thing is that this quick connect that is inside here can host up to 3 wires. So if you need to connect 3 wires at once, you can do it with this. Normally I will go up to like 2 of them, but depending on the design that you have, the way you lay out your lights, you can go up to 3 ports with 3 connectors over there. So it's really cool. And obviously the construction is really solid. You can actually attach the box to the framing or to the sections that you're working on. I'm going to show you in a moment how I'm going to do it, but it is well built. It is nice and slick. So again, make sure that in this case, I'm going to take the pigtails out. I'm going to put all the ceiling, and I like to finish all the ceiling really well, because what happens is that if I have enough lighting and the ceiling is finished, I can actually wrap everything around. So look, I had all the drywall installed, doing all the mudding, all the compound, all the finishes, and obviously the wires are concealed, above the drywall until I finish with the primer in this case. So I went ahead and did all the sanding, all the primer, and I'm ready to install my boxes. I'm ready to determine where the lights are going to go. So this is for me a little more of symmetrical work, where I want them exactly. They have to be organized well. And here is the template. They give you a template so you can actually mark exactly where you want them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this little with a compass that I have there. I'm going to just measure exactly. I'm going to transfer all those measurements to my scoring little tool over here, and I will proceed to mark all the ceiling sections and start scoring around so I know where I have to do my cutouts. Now I normally use the drywall knife, but if you have like a little drywall saw, you want to make sure that you follow those lines properly. Don't cut too much or too little. You want to make sure that you cut it exactly like the template shows you, because that is the space that you need to, to put all your supports. But I mean, by scoring that and marking around, you can actually cut it and expose your wires and do all the connection. Obviously, I want to show you the step by step with the connection. So look, once it's nice and out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some sanding around the edges to leave it nice and straight. Make sure that I correct any defects before I do anything. And the cool thing about it is, even if you have those beams across, these really light or thin profile light fixtures are really cool, because you can work right on top of the stuff without issues. Look how nice it looks like, and you don't have frustration. So I went ahead and put the final coat of ceiling paint on it. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to proceed. But I'm going to show you how you want to install those boxes, because it's extremely important that you do it correctly. I'm going to take out like about 4 inches of the wire. I'm going to expose the wire, and I only going to cut like about 1/2 inch of the wire itself. I'm only going to expose 1/2 inch of it, and that's the way you want to install in your connector. You don't want to expose too much or too little. You want to make sure that it has a nice grip. And this is something important. You want to make sure that you put this wire connector over here, because that will secure it to the box itself. Why do I like to do these things? Because first of all, it will be nice and safe. It's not going to be wiggling around, and it's not going to give you issues later on. And I'm going to show you why. Because I call this projecting the wires. How do I project my wires? By twisting all the wires in the way I want them to be pushed back into the box. The reason that a lot of people have frustration is because they start just tangling all this thing inside until they put just too much pressure that the wires are kind of sticking out. So if you notice, I actually do a little bit of the twisting of the wires before I start connecting, so I know where they're going to land at the end. As I push them inside, they will look nice and straight, and they will look, according to the way I want them to be laying inside the box. Look, if I close it, there is not an issue whatsoever. It looks nice and straight, and it's the same situation. Here I have 2 wires going in, 6 little cables going in, and there is not an issue installing it either. What you want to do again is you want to install it, because I'm going to show you in a moment what is the problem that a lot of the people have when they are installing these boxes and where they have the frustrations. And I don't want you to have those frustrations, because I want to make sure that you have a successful project, especially when you're installing these beautiful Incarled light fixtures. So if you notice, I'm projecting again my wires inside. I'm twisting it accordingly so they go nice and flush. And look, I don't have an issue. Even if I just press it, it will be nice and flush. You're not going to have issues if you do it this way. Trust me. A lot of people have frustration because they don't do it in the right way. So don't do this. Look, this is the problem that a lot of people have. They just don't put any type of connectors. You can put a plastic connector, you can put a metallic connector, whatever it is that you want to connect it properly to the box, because as you rub these, when you're maneuvering the wires, you expose those wires to the box, and all of a sudden you have a short there. You don't know why the breaker is jumping. You don't know why the light fixture are not working well, and that's because you expose that, and boom, it just kind of explodes when you are installing this. So please don't do it that way, because that's the majority of the issues. Use a connector, this one or any one that you want. And look, let's say you finish connecting your box over there in the ceiling. You have a little guide over here. You have 2 ways of understanding how these wires are going to be connected. You have 2 arrows, so you're going to line up those arrows, or you just kind of use a little pattern that is inside to connect it, and then later on you secure the nut. That is how you're going to connect it. so you don't have an issue in, as you do that, you're going to have an issue. Remember that you want to control, and I'm going to show you the colors, how beautiful the colors look like, but you can control the amount, how soft you want the light, how warm you want the finish. That's the cool thing about it. So once you're there, what I like to do is install all the boxes first. I like to install the boxes correctly, just like the way you saw it a moment ago, because obviously here for the cameras it's kind of weird to install it over there. I'll show you already how you want to install it. But once you connect it properly, you want to make sure that you only leave it like that. This is the way I do it. I only put primer on the ceiling, and I go ahead and put all my boxes. I go ahead and put all those things, and I put them back again in the ceiling. Why? Inside the ceiling, I conceal them over there. Why? Because I like to do a little bit of the sanding, correcting all the edges, and then go ahead and do my final paint job. And now that I know that it's nice and sealed over there, I like to do the final paint job, because that way, once I install it, I'm not going to have issues by, mudding all my beautiful ceiling or getting all the fixture dirty and stuff like that. So I like to, first of all, finish with all the stuff, clean my hands really well, carry a rag with me to clean my hands, and go ahead and install it. Remember that these light fixtures have a nice film that is protecting the entire surface. So once you finish installing it, you go ahead and remove your plastic film, and it looks amazing, because not only it has a beautiful low profile, but it has a foam like washer around that will protect, it will seal all the holes, so you're not going to lose any type of pressure, or you're not going to have any wind draft or loss of heat. That's the good thing about it, because it has the springs that are inside are powerful enough to create a nice seal there, and you don't have an issue. Even again, if you have a beam going across, a stud or whatever, you're not going to have an issue with that. And that's the cool thing about these light fixtures from Incarled. So remember that once you finish installing it, you want to go ahead, remember that you want to have all of them on the temperature, the color temperature that you want. So every time that you install them, you want to make sure that the box is pointing to the light. In this case, I love daylight, and look how nice it looks like. Now that I have all this light, I can go ahead and install all my tiles and the rest of the finishes that I want. But I wanted to make sure that it looked like that, because now, again, I can control the lights inside the shower independently, and the rest of the lights, the way I want it. So it is an important thing, and I showed you a moment ago that you can regulate the color. Let me show you how cool the color looks like. You can go from a warm color to a really daylight color, depending on the finishes. Let's say you have a beautiful ceiling, a beautiful room, and you want to give these accents. You can move from one place to another, and look how nice and warm it looks like. You can maneuver these colors the way you want. It has a nice intensity. It goes down to another spectrum, so it's really cool. And look at the finished product over here. This is what I like about the lights from Incarled, that you can actually have as much power as you need with a little bit of electricity. So remember, follow my channel, go and look for these beautiful light fixtures. I recommend them, and have a great day.